Hi guys, my name is James.
My name is Martin.
We're from Lootbox. We have been working as hard as we can to come up with something that we really think responds to the problem that was given to us. Australians are trying their best to be sustainable, and that's why a company like Keep Crate made $6 million last year. And yet for some reason, there is not an alternative that is market-based, that is sustainable for takeaway containers. So we've worked on a system that we think we can implement at UNSW. This is called Lootbox. So with a beautiful glass container that's 100% sustainable, you then take this to an ATM, which cleans the container for you and measures and tracks you based on your student card. And then an app, keeping track of the container as well, will also gamify this and give you a level point system and incentives based on how much you're using this. So UNSW has 53,000 students and it's got about 7,000 staff. We'd like to target 1% of these individuals coming to campus. That's 1,200 users. And then by the end of 2020, we'd like to get 4% of these, and that's 2,400.
So how do we do this for our business model? Well, it's a rewards-based subscription model, so where people pay $25 a month, and they pay $25 a year, and that gives them access to this service. So they can go to the ATM anytime they like and get the container and then take it to the place where they'd like to buy their food. So it also uses a gamified points-based incentive system so that when you reach a milestone after returning, say, 10 or 20, 50 containers, you get a food voucher, which you can then use at your favourite place to get your favourite lunch. So how will we find customers? James?
Yeah, of course. So O-Week is a fantastic place to get some customers going. O-Week is where all of the first years are going to be really interested in what UNSW is doing. Customer referrals sort of working like the Uber system where you can give someone else a code. This would be set up through brand ambassadors from places like Thoughtful Foods and Fossil Free UNSW. And then we're going to be doing some marketing through UNSW by getting in touch with some clubs interested in supporting the cause.
So what are our advantages? To leverage our competitive advantage, we are at UNSW. We have the resources and a knowledge base here to access to develop the product further, and we have a test bed of all the students and staff here who are interested in using this. We have existing relationships with businesses on campus who have said that they would take containers if people bring them to them. And we have a few more links with other businesses here. And we have development maturity. We've been working on this for 3 months already for a project at UNSW Art and Design. So we've already kind of ironed out a lot of the creases, solved all the problems and addressed a lot of concerns already. We've been through various iterations of materials and products and ways that we can close this loop. And we also have a tight-knit team because we've been working on it for a while. We know each other. We have a diverse range of skills from marketing, design, and commerce. And we get along well and we know each other's strengths. So what have we done so far? We've done market research, so we've done surveys. We've had over 150 responses to surveys and over 60%, I think over 70% have said that they are interested in using something like this if we can provide it to them. We've done prototyping on both the container itself and on the ATM system, and we've established design apps as well for that. We've established a brand and a brand image which appeals to our target audience, and we've developed a growth strategy to harness future business opportunities. So moving forward, we think that we need approximately $25,000 to make our first ATM. That can help us reach 5,000 users on campus within 3 years, and that has the potential to save up to 1 million containers from going to landfill.
We'd love to keep you in the loop. Here are our contact details. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, that was great. When are we making money? When's the break-even point?
So that's going to depend on the uptake. If we charge the annual subscription at $25 a year, that's about $48,000 at 4% of the uni. So we'd start making money once we hit about 2 or 3% if the costs we've analysed so far are 25.
We can cover our base costs. Once we reach 1,000 users, we can cover our base costs of establishing the machine and buying the containers and developing the software.
And how close is the ATM?
Oh, well, we're here to talk to MCIC about creating that.
Great.
How many times do you expect that the container will go through the process of washing? So therefore, that reuse philosophy, which is, of course, the very first step, how many times do you expect that to...
Yeah, look,
So we went through various kind of materials. First we were thinking plastic, but then that didn't really fit with our brand image. Then we thought bioplastics, but then they don't have as long a lifespan. So we figured we may as well go with glass because you can make it from recycled materials. It is recyclable itself. It is infinitely reusable. And if it does break, it can be reused. Finally, it's also quite heavy, so it's quite difficult for people to take off campus.
when we spoke to someone who works in the food industry, the big thing they said with reusable containers and cups is that a lot of them are unattractive. So because you eat with your eyes, you're going to actually want to use something that is elevating your food and not taking away from it.
Have you thought about using, I guess, recycled glass in the first place to manufacture the food containers itself? Because, I mean, you'll have to get someone to manufacture that initial sort of batch of giving you enough stock.
Yep.
Yeah, so we've identified suppliers online through Alibaba, and we can probably develop relationships with them further with time.
Are there any food safety questions around the material itself? I mean, obviously people talk about that in the context of plastics, but what about in case of glass? Have you looked into that?
We figured that by going directly to an OEM online, they would have already kind of developed a lot of that. So we can help to develop aesthetics of the container so that it appeals to our audience. But as far as the actual functionality goes, excuse me, we can, by going to an OEM, they are the experts in that field. They have already achieved all those standards. So we can, provided we have a good relationship, we can trust that they have a reputable product, we can leave that to them.
I think anything that reduces the number of takeaway containers on campus is a good idea. And this one washes it too, so.
Excellent. Thank you very much.